Hello class, Mr. Stone here. The problem I found online today, it's three parallel lines. They gave us some angles. They gave us a 120, they gave us a 45, and they want you to find x, okay? So you're going to look at this and you're going to say, hey, how can I solve this? I'm going to show you a couple different ways, okay? One, if you can remember the corresponding angle rule, okay? Now if you can envision this, that you flip this, okay? So this was flipped over, okay? So this is the inside angle, so I'm going to make this one x, okay? X, and then this is the 120. That's it. And they're both equal. So that means x equals 120 according to the corresponding angle rules. Okay, square that up so the teacher knows here my answer is x equals 120. And that was all there was to it. And you can move on to the next one. That's if you remember the rules for the corresponding angles and if you can envision this flipped around. Okay, sometimes you have to look at problems and say, hey, how about if I turn this around a little bit or whatever? And that's all there was to it, okay? But now, what happens if I wanted to solve this a different way, okay? I didn't remember the corresponding angles, but I can look at this and I can envision it a little more, okay? What happens if you pulled this 120 down, okay? Pull that down and moved it over a little. That means this whole thing here is 120, correct? You can see that, right? So that whole big angle is 120, okay? So you know part of it's 45 and the whole thing equals 120. So hey, now what happens if you move the x up? Okay, so that means this is x. Okay, so hey, what's the difference? Let's figure this out. Okay, we know the 120 minus the 45 is going to be this one. Okay, this is going to be that. Okay, so we got 120. I'm just going to do some quick math here. 120 minus 45. We got a 5. We got 75. So that's going to be 75. Okay, so now we know 75. I can already see where this is going. 45 equals 120. So now we know this whole thing is 120, right? So what we have to do now is solve for x. So we know 180 is the whole straight line minus the 120. 120, 60 is this one. But we know x, the whole thing here, is 120. So x equals 120. So we know we solved, we got a 60, a 45, and a 75, and that makes all the angles. Let's see if they add up to 180. We got a 0, we got a 1, we got a 7, 11, 180, yep, that checks, okay, so it does, okay, I added them all up, okay, and that's all there was to it, so x equals 120, but you see how I solved that a different way, okay, just by taking what I know and just kind of moving things around. You got to always look at these problems and say, hey, how about if I move this way and move this way, and the parallel lines let you move them together, okay, it doesn't say that the distance between the 120 and the 45 is got to stay the same. Okay, that can get together, right together, and you can solve these problems. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It'll help my YouTube ratings, and more students will see this. And hey, they'll be able to solve these a couple different ways, okay? And hopefully they remember the corresponding angle rule, okay? And they'll get it right that way. But if they don't, they can move these lines together, and they can still solve it all, okay? Thank you very much. Have a great day now. Bye-bye.